The following is intended for mature audiences only. Discretion is advised.
What's up, besties? This is episode 29 of Childlike at Best with Mike Valdes. I am still the second part of that title. I hope you had an amazing week. I just had a birthday. I'm years old now, and that's been really great. I'm really grateful to be alive, and I'm really grateful for all the shows that I've been able to do. I've been doing a lot of stand-up shows, and you guys have been coming out, and it's been super fun. Thank you so much for everyone who's come out to these stand-up shows. I was lucky enough to be a part of Luis Diaz's frat house this month, and that was one of the most fun times I've ever had on stage. It was such a blast getting silly with you guys. Thank you so much to Luis for allowing me to be a part of that show, and also thank you to the Miami Improv for letting me be a part of it as well. And if you want to come to a show, make sure that you follow me on Instagram at Mike Valdes. That's where I post all of the show flyers, all the show announcements. You'll be able to see where I'm performing, and it would be such a blast to see you so we can get silly together. This episode is my buddy Travis Benton. Travis is a performer as well as a stand-up comedian. He performs under many different names, such as Travis the Voice Benton or Joe Bob McGinney. His characters are very wacky and hilarious. And this episode is really fun. We get to talking about where Travis grew up, as well as what inspired him to make all these characters on stage. And we even talked about Fart Basil a little bit. This episode has everything, and I really think that you guys are going to enjoy it. So without further ado, please enjoy Travis Benton.
We're done. Because on
That's so funny.
Well, on my profile that I took the time to fill out and write, it says, get to know the man behind the makeup. That's the whole point.
Yeah.
I'm not looking for somebody to come watch me at work.
Yeah.
I'm looking for somebody that I can spend time with when I'm not at work, because that's my job. I'm an entertainer. I'm going to be on stage. I'm going to be backstage. I'm going to be in the green room. I'm going to be flirting with girls and flirting with guys, and you're going to have to be able to sit by yourself and be all right with that.
Yeah, oh my gosh, that's so accurate.
I don't mind you coming to see a show and being supportive of me.
Of course, yeah.
But you're supporting me.
Yeah, not
let me come see a show. No.
But even still, you also don't want people to fall in love with your persona or who you are, on stage, because it's a different person.
People show up, come to a comedy show.
Yeah.
And this is where the weed out process started getting thicker. They come to a comedy show, and you know how it is at a comedy show. You're out back hanging out with the comedians, and they start trying to become the center of attention. If a comedian says something that's dark and off color as a slam or a slight to somebody or in a circle of comedians like we expect to happen, and they have to jump on and start
yeah,
you can't be around me then.
Yeah, it's
not me. You're gonna turn around and start lecturing me about my friends, and these are technically coworkers.
Yeah, no, that is 100% true.
You know what I mean? Yeah, we're buddies, but
yeah, we're employees of a bigger thing called comedy. That's so true, man. Oh my gosh. Well, we started already, but this is gold.
I'm fine with it.
This is gold.
I'm good with it, yeah.
So, hey, everybody. This is Childlike at Best with Mike Valdes. Hey, guys.
Childlike at Best.
Yeah. Hey, guys, guess what? I'm Mike Valdes, and today I have a great guest with me, Travis Benton.
Hey.
Hey, man. What's going on?
You hear it?
Just that noise was enough.
Life is going on.
That's amazing. Well, before I ask you the first question, even though we've been talking a little bit, the first thing we like to do here at Childlike at Best is we like to take a Flintstones vitamin. Right. So I have these Flintstones Complete Gummies there for you.
Flintstones Complete Gummies?
Yeah. I'm sure you remember back when they were...
Is this a personality test? Are you going to see which one I grab?
Yeah, kind of. A little bit.
Kind of?
It's not really a personality. It's just like which one you get.
I don't know what... That's a Dino?
It is Pebbles.
It's Pebbles.
Yes, it is the one that we get every time.
Girl power.
Exactly, girl power. So, as you're taking that, can you please tell the listeners where you grew up?
I grew up in a house.
Well, you know what I mean.
Normal kid stuff, you know?
Yeah, I know what
you mean. Like, where was the house located?
Yeah, where were you? Yeah, where were you born? Things like that.
I grew up in Broken Arrow, Oklahoma.
Oh, nice.
It's a suburb of Tulsa, Oklahoma.
Yeah.
And it's a very weird mixture of city people and country people. It's like right there on that border of where the country folk come into town to do what they got to do in town. And it's still suburban enough that there's people that don't go from the suburb to the city. They don't go from suburb to farm and vice versa. And there's that intermingling of everybody in the middle. And it's just a weird, beautiful place to exist.
Yeah, for sure. That's crazy.
Yeah.
And so is it a little bit like, have you ever been to like Chattanooga, like something like that, where it's like, there's things to do city-wise, but then it's just like there's so much nothing at the same time?
Think a smaller version of Dallas. It's geographically kind of north of Dallas, northeast of Dallas. Oklahoma City's north of Dallas, and we're east of Oklahoma City. It's just got that kind of cowboy vibe.
Yeah. What kind of stuff would you do? Like
You name it. Anything I've done, it's you name it. There was farming life that I did. I worked on a farm. I was a cowboy. We had cattle. We did agriculture. I drove every kind of a vehicle you can ever imagine driving.
Really?
Yeah, I learned to drive stick in a semi truck.
Holy cow.
Just because I was the only person around and they needed one more person to drive it.
Right.
And it was literally across a field, but they needed somebody to get in and move it because they were out of people to drive all the stuff.
Yeah.
I was 12.
Oh my gosh.
Do you know where the gears are? Yeah. All right. Get in and follow us across the road.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it was
That's
awesome.
crazy. So what kind of kid would you say that you were in school? Like, who did you hang out with at the lunch table, that kind of thing?
The weird thing is in school, I was young in the age group. Like, I was at the young end of the cutoff for where the age was. So everybody in my class was older than me. But I was really intelligent and got good grades. I didn't really struggle with school as far as grades were concerned.
Yeah.
So I got put into the nerd group immediately.
Sure.
And my parents always kind of taught me to just be a peaceful, nice guy, and it wasn't in me to be mean to people, which makes you a weakling. And since I'm smart, that's where I got put into. Around 8th grade, I hit a growth spurt, and by sophomore year, I had transitioned from being the nerd to a jock.
Right.
And now I'm one of the powerhouse people in the being of the bully genre. I get to be the bully. And
yeah, kind of.
If you were on my team, like if I played a sport with you, I was mean to you.
Yeah.
But I would never let anybody else be mean to you.
Of course. It's like a big brother thing.
When it came to the nerd friends that I had until I hit my growth spurt,
yeah.
don't be mean to them either.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm gonna come get you.
Yeah.
I was kind of the enforcer. Like I didn't let anybody be mean to any of my friends.
Did you ever have to throw hands?
Never got to the point. I wanted to, but it never got to the point where I had to because there were enough. I have the jocks on my side.
Yeah.
I'm coming against these bullies and there's the burnout guys that like to pick on the nerds.
Yeah.
And here I come rolling with the jocks, and these are my friends. And if those guys are my friends, they're all cool with the jocks. It was just a weird.
Now, when you say nerdy, are you saying in the sense of like just being smart, or are you saying like you like D&D and like things like that?
D&D, like one of my best friends joined the drama club.
Okay.
Taught me how to play football the first year I played football. Mm-hmm. And then from freshman year to sophomore year, he went to the drama club. It was just, and he and I are still best friends.
Yeah.
Yeah. When I say nerds, I'm talking smart kids to D&D weirdos. That's
around kind of the same group of people that I hung out with as well. Because really, when you think about it, D&D is just acting.
Well, you know, it's not mainstream is the problem.
Of course, yeah.
But I mean, I wanted to be in drama, but I was a white kid in Oklahoma. Football was kind of what I had to do. Wrestling is because my dad did it, and I wanted to do like my dad. But football is something you're gonna play football type scenario for me is the way I felt anyway.
Did you want to go professional?
At one time, when I was playing, I had that little, I'd like to do this, but It wasn't the same passion like I've got for getting on a stage with a mic.
Yeah, and what was it that gave you that passion? Was it at a young age or no?
It was a very young age.
Yeah.
It was a very young age.
What was
My
that?
dad's brother used to do these flower shows. My dad's dad opened the first wholesale flower business in Tulsa. And his brother, my dad's brother used to put on flower shows with famous florists for the florists around in Tulsa and bring everybody together as a networking kind of event. And I was a page. I used to carry around the arrangements that these people would make up. And he'd put me up in the spotlight and give me a hard time. And he was such a clown, but I saw the way the entire room just glommed onto his overwhelming, joyful energy that he just was full of.
Right.
And how everybody walked around with that same kind of clowny feeling from the time they saw him.
Right.
And being in the spotlight, I was so comfortable with all those eyes on me. When you and I are at a club and we finish our sets, you see how I hang out in the back.
Yeah.
I'm not a guy that likes to be in front of people. I don't like people staring at me.
Yeah.
Put a light on me.
What was the first thing you ever did, like on a stage? Did you do drama club or no?
No. I did a play when I was in 4th grade and hadn't come out of my shell as a performer. I was still real timid and got to speak, got a line, and kind of like, I want to do that. But in Oklahoma, that's a pipe dream.
Of course.
You're never gonna make it out of there. Now that I say that, Bill Hader from Saturday Night Live is from Tulsa.
Yeah.
Brad Pitt went to high school in Tulsa. Garth Brooks, Toby Keith. There's a bunch of guys that have made it, but
yeah, they got out of there though.
Exactly.
They didn't make it there.
Exactly. And to do training and being who I was an impossibility.
Yeah.
I wasn't going to be able to do any kind of training, so I didn't really get anything other than just becoming a fan of performers.
Yeah. And so what were some of the performers you were a fan of?
Robin Williams.
Yeah.
Robin Williams is the way he did voices, but Casey Kasem.
Yeah, Casey Kasem is great.
And not
Shaggy, dude.
No, not Shaggy. The America's Top 40.
Oh, really?
He'd do those letters and dedications, and he'd read those letters to you, and through the power of his voice delivering that message made me want to cry sometimes.
Yeah.
I would be a kid out mowing the lawn listening to Casey Kasem's Top 40, and he'd read one of those long distance dedications and blah, blah, blahs, and just, that's beautiful, man.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Casey Kasem was like the first podcaster, dude.
He's really the reason I wanted to get in the radio.
Yeah.
I wanted to do a show on the radio in the morning, get up and get people going in a good mood, crack some jokes, tell them what's going on in the world. And
he was big back then because not only did he have a radio show, he was on one of the top animated shows of all time still. And then... But
he did like 36 cartoon voices too.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I can't think of other ones.
Shaggy, Scooby, and Scrappy.
Did he now?
Yeah.
I didn't even know that. Holy cow.
He did all 3 of them.
I didn't know that.
He did like 36 cartoon voices.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You just never really knew it because you only know this is Casey Kasem.
Right.
America's Top 40.
I knew Shaggy and I knew the one episode from Saved by the Bell where he was on doing his radio show and it was like a dance.
Oh, he's done a million of those.
Yeah, I know. He's done so many cameos.
He's done a million of those.
But yeah, and he was in like Back to the Beach and like movies like that.
When he passed it, legit, like, oh man, that's...
Yeah, it was a huge deal for sure. Yeah, it was a huge deal.
Him and then just the pure energy of Robin Williams, not as an actor as much as his live performances.
Yeah. And where did you, just out of curiosity, where did you see him first? Was it Mork and Mindy or just watching specials?
Anytime he was on TV. And we only had the one TV growing up. I didn't have cable.
Yeah.
We had regular channels. So getting to see a lot of that stuff wasn't readily available. But if he was on and my parents knew he was going to be on, come here. Steve Martin was another one they showed me. They showed me the original like breakout comedian actor people that made everybody have a good time.
Man, Steve Martin, he doesn't get talked about in my generation anymore, but like that dude is one of the first rock star comedians ever.
Absolutely is.
Like he was so good, man.
He would do this. My parents would tell me that he did this thing called Happy Feet.
Yeah.
Where his body from knees up wouldn't move and his feet underneath were going crazy.
Yeah.
No, nobody does that stuff anymore.
I know. Yeah, it's kind of crazy. Like there's I mean, granted, it's not my story, but I was listening to this podcast where Dane Cook was talking, and he was saying that he had a lunch with Steve Martin, and Steve Martin told him, "Hey, when I see you on stage, are you happy?" And he goes, "Yeah, I really love it up there." And Steve Martin goes, I never felt that." It's like really sad to think about it because he was so good at it. You know what I mean? And it's like such a sad thing to think about.
That's 90% of the reason I feel like I do as well as I do.
Sure.
I absolutely
You love it, yeah.
Love.
But you could tell that you love it though.
Being up there.
Yeah. You can tell that you love it. And that's kind of what separates people, like performers, you know. I think people can blush. I think people can tell, you know what I mean? Like people can tell, like,
well, I mean, you can see it in just something as simple as comedy. If you watch someone who's going up and doing their rehearsed stood in the mirror set versus you who goes up and has done the joke where you're free enough to be able to flex and flux as the crowd is to get them to adjust your bit to them. You can see 100% difference in even the way the performer comes across.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean? And I know there's times that I come across like that, but
we all do. Yeah, we all do, because sometimes we're phoning it in because our day was difficult and, you know, like that kind of thing. Or feel like
I never phone it in. For me, when I come across, it's because I'm trying to remember a new bit.
Oh, is it?
Yeah. Like I wrote a bit where I take a la George Carlin, another idol of mine.
Yeah.
A la his 10 Commandments bit.
Yeah.
I break down LBGTQ to Q.
Yeah.
Just through common sense and logic, but I do it Joe Bob style, so it's hilarious.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, and we'll get into that in a few minutes, but anyway, so you had Robin, you had Carlin, obviously. Carlin, right. I feel like Carlin was like everybody's mentor, though.
Well, Carlin was something I got into. Pryor I didn't get into as much.
Really?
He wasn't. For Carlin, it was harder for me to find.
Okay.
You know what I mean? I didn't have the internet.
Yeah, that's true.
I graduated in 1997 from high school, so a lot of my childhood might as well have taken place in the 1950s. You know what I mean? Like, I didn't have a lot of fancy stuff. I didn't have cable TV. Well,
right.
Like, I was glued watching MTV as a kid. I'm out playing and using my imagination to play in the backyard. I wanted to be a knight in shining armor.
Yeah.
Oh, Sir Lancelot and these and thous and the Old English and everything for honor and chivalry and being a Renaissance man.
Yeah.
That was, those guys.
And what gave you that inspiration to be one of those like knight in shining armor kind of people?
It was the valor of their presence.
Yeah.
You knew that when they said something, it was going to happen.
Was it through seeing it on television or movies or something?
It was Robin Hood. The Disney Robin Hood.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll be 100% honest with you. When I saw Robin Hood.
It's a handsome fox.
Just the love story that happened there and knowing Robin Hood, and he was Superman in real life.
Yes, very much so.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Very much so.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
I want to do that. And then I started learning more about there's actual knights in shining armor that fought for valor and went out and sacrificed their lives to protect the queen. And
that's really interesting. So
Sword in the Stone was another one.
Oh, yeah?
That Disney movie. Oh, yeah, that touched me.
Yeah, I feel like, that's kind of in the same
Merlin
vein as well. Merlin.
When he turned him into a bird. I died. I wanted to be a bird so bad. Like, where is my Merlin? I need a Merlin.
That's awesome. So what other movies were you into and stuff? Like,
there wasn't a movie I wasn't into.
Sure.
Horror movies I don't like anymore.
And why is that?
It's just, I don't need all the gore.
Yeah, I get that.
I don't need to see a head explode. I'd rather, like, the scariest I've ever been that I can remember of a movie was the original American Werewolf in London.
Oh, yeah. Did you see it in the theater?
No, I saw it at home.
Oh, okay, because so did I. I feel like if I saw it in the theater, it would have been traumatizing.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Definitely. I was way too young to be watching this movie to begin with. But I'm watching this movie, and that part where you just hear the...
Yeah.
And the guys in the subway and the tube walking down, and you never see what's after him.
Yeah.
To that point, you haven't seen anything but him. The guys start going, ah,
yeah.
And then no more. People are just scared of something. That's, oh my.
Yeah. And that's all practical effects too, man. Like that's all the stuff
that's the greatest way to scare somebody.
Oh, I agree. Let
them make that monster themselves.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know why they don't do that anymore.
Because
it's kind of a bummer.
Kids today have had my younger brother, who's 6 years younger than I am, doesn't remember a time without access to a computer.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I don't mean like we had one in the house, but he doesn't remember a time where he didn't have access to, like, even the original Nintendo.
Sure.
Is something he doesn't remember not having.
Yeah.
I remember when we got it for Christmas, he doesn't remember not having it. And that little 6-year gap is where things started to change. Now, if you play Mario Brothers,
yeah,
it looks like Mario has pit stains. When I played Mario Brothers, he was just this square little box thing that kind of looked like a guy.
Yeah, very true.
You know what I mean? You play Tecmo Bowl, the greatest football game ever, and you get Joe Montana. You can throw a 100-yard touchdown pass without a problem.
Yeah.
You just got to not get tackled long enough to let Jerry Rice get down the field, and you're going to score.
Yeah. That's very accurate.
Now you got 52 buttons on one controller. Nice. But as video games got better and people got better with computers, graphics and movies started getting better.
Yeah.
90% of the movies coming out now are all CGI anyway.
Yeah, that's very accurate.
What's the guy's name who did the stones?
Thanos?
Who played Thanos?
Oh, that was
exactly.
It's Josh Brolin. That's
Josh Brolin.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't realize he was purple with that big huge chin and all the wrinkles that was on his chin.
Yeah, and also people don't realize it's the big brother from Goonies. So like that's yeah, it's kind of insane. But yeah, that is very weird. It's like weird but cool at the same time, where people like the Josh Brolin performance or the Andy Serkis performance for like Planet of the Apes and stuff. Mm-hmm. People are thinking, wow, that's an Oscar-worthy performance. And it's like, yeah, but it was computer animation. Like, I understand he was acting and the computers had something to do with it, but also like it's not the same. It's
who gets the Oscar? Is it Josh Brolin
or the guy that animated him? Yeah,
that made Josh Brolin's tears roll down his cheek when he had to start crying.
Yeah,
because I saw Goonies.
Exactly.
he didn't cry once.
Well, it was a different role, but even still, I get what you mean though. Yeah, it's the same. It's the same exact deal. But yeah, so just to go into our next bit, do you remember any kind of commercials or jingles that stick out in your craw for products or like cereals or things?
Yeah, 100% do.
Yeah, like which ones?
It was when I first started kind of becoming a class clown. 7th grade, my first year, or no, 8th grade. When I started, it was 7th grade. No, 8th grade. 8th grade it was. I was on the wrestling team. I was okay. I was pretty decent. Started getting a little cocky and started just making little smart ass comments.
Yeah.
That I used to get smacked by my parents for making, and I'd make them under my breath in school. And I sat next to this guy, Nick Maples, and Nick would hear me say it and then say it out loud and just parrot all my jokes. He won class clown.
Sure.
And as I'm developing this and I'm starting to kind of become a little more free with letting stuff fly, I heard this jingle, and I, being a smartass, repeated the jingle like it had just dawned on me for the first time.
Right.
And I said, Oh, I get it. Let go my ego. To this day, my father and my sister will throw that in my face like I was really stupid.
And it was clearly like you were just trying to make
I was trying to be a smartass about a dumb commercial.
Oh, I get it.
Oh.
That's so funny.
Neither one of them thought I was kidding. They were like, oh, you're an idiot, aren't you? Yes. Know the room, Travis.
That's amazing. Were you a cereal guy growing up?
Yeah.
Yeah? What kind of cereal did you like?
Fruity. I liked fruit ones.
So you like Fruit Loops, Fruity Pebbles?
No. Like muesli and Raisin Bran and
okay.
the old people stuff that's going to make you poop.
Okay.
Those were my favorites.
Really?
Yeah.
Why is that?
Because my mom was a weirdo.
Okay.
And my dad was a meanie. Mm-hmm. And no, I'm kidding. My parents were very health conscious people about food and diet.
Okay.
And I didn't have my first piece of candy until I was almost 3 years old.
Really?
It was given to me by my neighbor at Halloween, and my dad was pissed.
Oh my gosh.
Why does a kid need candy?
Right.
And to this day, I still don't really have a sweet tooth. But when I would get munchy or I wanted something, my mom would give me fruit. Here, eat an apple, eat a peach, eat an orange, eat some bananas, and give me fruits to eat as a kid. So the cereal that I would eat, fruit cereal, my mom had Raisin Bran. I want some Raisin Bran. All right, here's some Raisin Bran.
That is so interesting, man. Because it's a good problem to have.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying,
like bunches of oats, all that kind of stuff.
Right. But I just mean in the sense of like, I'm of the generation where I definitely wasn't allowed to have certain things, like certain foods in the house, but it didn't mean that I didn't want them. Like I was very like, but why can't we have fruit roll-ups or fruit benefits? I might
as well have been growing up in the 1950s. Right. There you go. I didn't know any better.
Right. You're just like, I don't even want it. All I knew
is mom said I can't have anything. My mom, a lot of the time, if you complained about dinner, like, I don't want this. Well, there's the kitchen. All right.
Yeah, I guess I'll eat this. I don't know how to cook anything.
Because nothing in the kitchen is go open a package and eat it.
Right.
You're gonna have to cook if you're hungry. I mean, my Southern mom made sure I knew how to cook before I left the house.
That's good.
Made sure I could cook.
So what did she teach you?
Everything you need to know how to cook. Fry an egg, cook a steak, cook chicken, make rice, boil potatoes. Make sure, and the way she taught me how to eat was make sure you got all your stuff, get your vegetables.
That is very smart and great parenting.
That's Southern mama for you.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Not gonna be with
Southern mother.
At least she knows I can feed myself.
Because some Southern people I know, at least like living in Tennessee, are very like, they're deep fried Southern, you know?
Don't get me wrong. There are those Southern moms out there too.
Sure.
I can fry a mean piece of chicken.
Yeah. But and man, fried chicken tastes like love. It's great. You know?
My mom's fried chicken was boneless, skinless chicken breast though.
Okay.
It wasn't a fried chicken that had been soaked in buttermilk. It was a pan-fried, boneless, skinless chicken breast.
Holy cow.
A lot, like I didn't have, my dad was very avid sportsman.
Yeah.
We had a freezer outside in the garage for all of the game that he would bring home. Dove, well, we never ate the dove, but we'd bring home quail, pheasant. We'd 3 or 4 years in a row, we'd eat wild turkey for Thanksgiving. Deer every year.
Yeah, I'm sure.
And the limit on deer in Oklahoma is 7. So every year Dad had put 7 deer in the freezer.
Wow.
Every time we'd have beef, like you do chili, it was half beef, half deer.
Wow.
We'd ground deer meat in almost everything we did, but just to make it leaner, just to lean it out, because deer's extremely lean. We'd get a half a side of beef from my grandpa and have never bought, the only meat we bought was chicken.
Yeah.
Fish, we had crappie in the freezer all the time. Freshwater fish constantly, just basically tilapia.
Holy cow.
Yeah, that's the food I grew up on.
That's very awesome.
Yeah,
in
so
a
the
lot
cereals,
of ways.
it was all just I had Kicks, I had that
Sure.
kind of stuff, but I preferred the stuff that had chunks of fruit and nuts.
That's
And
so funny to me. That
granola
you,
with milk
that
is
you
what I
think
wanted.
Kix is the sugary cereal. like people my age are laughing so hard at that right now. Like you're kidding, right?
Oh, I know you've got the Lucky Charms with all
Yeah,
the marshmallow, and now there's
exactly.
just pure marshmallow Lucky Charms.
Yeah.
Oh, what is that about?
Man, I wish I had.
Good
I wish I had your
Lord.
palate. I wish I had
That
your
doesn't
palate.
even sound appetizing.
Yeah, at my age, I wish I had your palate at least. Yeah. So, well, anyway, on here at Childlike at Best, we like to review a cereal, and we like to review a specific. Unbuckled your pants.
Yeah.
so we could actually eat this cereal together. But yeah, we like to review a cereal here, and I also like to get a specific cereal for my guest. So I spoke with my sponsors over at Funko. Now, by sponsor, I mean that I like them and I buy all their products, and by spoke to, I mean that I tweeted them repeatedly and they didn't get back to me. So what I got for you was also, since it's like the Christmas season and things like that, I got you Cousin Eddie cereal.
Cousin Eddie's cereal?
Yeah. Now
Funkos.
yeah. Now, the reason why I got this specific cereal is A, because it's Christmas time when we're recording
Cheddar's
this.
full.
Exactly. And also because of Joe Bob. And Joe Bob is essentially Cousin Eddie.
Oh, boy, I tell you what, that cereal right there looks pretty good. Hey, Cousin Eddie's cereal. Let me see that box right there. Cousin Eddie, we got a box there soon. It includes, oh, you already took the toy out of here, didn't you?
I did.
Butthole already stole the toy out of the cereal you bought from me. This is a multi-grain cereal. It's what does that say about National Lampoons? Christmas Vacation Cousin Eddie by Funkos. Funkos, what is that? Oh, Funko.
Yeah.
Maybe that's because you're saying it wrong. That's why I don't sponsor you.
Maybe.
It's not Funko, it's Funko. Cousin Eddie cereal brought to you by Funko. Get yourself a bowl. It's going to be good for you.
Cousin Eddie cereal for when the shitter's full.
Be sure to fill the shitter with Cousin Eddie.
Oh my gosh. So I'm going to go ahead and open this cereal, which we've already opened the box.
It can't fill the shitter with 1 gram of fiber per serving.
Yeah, that is very true. So I'm going to open this cereal.
Open the cereal.
Yeah, and I'm also going to pour it into my Reptar cereal bowl. I'm
Do you
going
want me
to
to open it for you? So because you have to hold the mic.
No, I got it. I got it. And I have to also mic it while I pour it in because all the ASMR weirdos like to loop it and make it their ringtone. So give me just a second.
ASMR?
Yes.
What kind of ass to mouth residual kind of stuff is that? That doesn't make any sense. ASMR.
That is the best thing I've ever heard about ASMR.
Ass to mouth residuals?
No, it's essentially, it's these weird people that have these weird things in the back of their brains where like when they hear certain noise, they have like it almost like itches a part of their brain a little bit and it like makes them feel good. So like they like the sound of like things squishing or nails.
So I wasn't far off.
You weren't far off at all. It is really freaking weird. And like nails like pressed up against like something, like anything, you know, like different. Exactly.
That kind of stuff?
Yeah, stuff like that. People whispering, people chewing sometimes.
But not a...
Well, that's a different kind of ASMR. That's porn.
What about...
Yes.
Rub that.
Yes, beard ASMR. They
There
like
you go.
that.
I had a great beard for you.
Yeah. Yeah, they like that.
Travis, you're such a weirdo.
My next guest is going to love that microphone.
My beard is clean.
I know it is. I'm just joking around. Of most people that I know for a fact that you're completely groomed. Like your hair is always very nice. Your beard is always great. If I have to worry, you're the least person I have to worry about like anything being stinky. You know what I mean?
Thank you very much.
You're a very hygienic man.
Thank you very much.
So anyway, I'm gonna pour this.
Another lesson my mama taught me.
There you go.
Look at my fingers. Look how clean my hands are.
Wow! Holy cow!
Yeah.
They are. For the listener, his hands are very, very clean.
I do all that myself.
Holy cow! That's crazy.
My mama was like, "Look, first thing, women are going to look at your hands. They're going to look at your fingers. Take care of your hands."
Yeah.
Okay. Yes, ma'am.
Very accurate. Holy cow! Well, I'm gonna pour some into this bowl here. Give me just a second. Nice. That was a good one for all those ASMR weirdos. Like, oh man, it's getting that weird part of my brain no one else has but me. So
Such a weird thing.
I know, man. It's really weird.
The internet has ruined the world.
Are you just finding out about this today?
No.
Okay.
It's just I've heard of it before, but it's so.
It was the first time someone like fully explained it to you.
No, it's just one of those things, and I'm like, how did you accidentally discover that?
Right. That is very true.
How many times you've been pouring a bowl of cereal like, oh my God, is that pre-cum?
So stupid.
Oh man.
That's so
Captain
stupid.
Crunch, you're doing it again, baby. I don't.
It's crunchitizing my pants.
Yeah. He's
So stupid.
Now I know how they frost the flakes.
Yeah, we can do this all night, people.
Really putting the O's in there.
Yeah, I'll put some luck in those charms. Anyway. Yeah, so it would be fun to review this cereal, but what I think would be more fun is to review this cereal as Cousin Eddie. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to find some Christmas Vacation music for you, and I would like for you to review this cereal.
You want me to do it as Cousin Eddie or as Joe Bob? Because I haven't heard Cousin Eddie's voice in a long time.
I'll be honest for you. You know what? Let's strike that. I think you should review this as Joe Bob. Because Joe Bob is essentially Cousin Eddie.
Do you want to hear something crazy?
What is that?
You and I did stand up together the last time Travis, the voice, did stand up.
Oh, yeah?
Yep.
At that show near the bakery?
The show we did with Lewis where they had the croquettes and all that kind of stuff. That was the last time Travis, the voice, got on stage.
Holy cow.
Because remember I had just shaved my beard?
Yes, I do. I remember that.
That following Monday, I was on my way to Red Bar and didn't want to wax up my mustache. And I just had the mustache down. My hair was long and I put on a hat. It was a ball cap and I looked at myself in the mirror and I was like, I look redneck as hell right now.
Yeah.
Let's see what happens. And I had stolen one of my friend's Bass Pro Shop hats that had a hook on it and had a Jack Daniels t-shirt. And I'm like, all right, let's go be Joe Bob McGinney. Let's go tell jokes at Joe Bob McGinney. And I did the exact same set that I did that Saturday with you.
Yeah.
I did it Monday at Red Bar. Killed. All the same jokes. They all got laughs. I didn't have one of them fall flat. All right, well, that's weird. Did it again at Sweet Caroline's. Did it twice on Wednesday at Craftsman. Went to Taurus. Like, all right, make or break.
Yeah.
It's going to work. It's going to work at the places to your soul down there in Coral Gables.
Yeah.
And they let me go long. I was having such a good set.
Man, the thing about that character is like, you embody that character, dude. Like, it's like insane.
I try to embody any character that I do.
Of course.
Any character I do, they all have their own story. They've all got their own quirks. They've all got their own personality. They all have their own form of speech. They all have their everything. Like,
well, for example, like it blows my mind that there's some comics that don't know that you are just like some guy named Travis.
There are people, there are comics that have heard of me.
Sure.
Like, I don't know who he is, but I've heard of him.
Yeah.
And there are some people who follow Joe Bob on Instagram who have no idea that I exist.
Yeah.
As far as they're concerned, Joe Bob's just this really funny redneck that they saw.
Right.
No clue of anything else.
That's so funny, man. That's such like, before you know it, it's going to be a Larry the Cable Guy situation where you're going to be in over your head.
Here's the thing about it. Larry the Cable Guy, he tried to hide the fact that it's a personality. Mm-hmm. If you go look up Joe Bob McGinney on Instagram and you read my profile, it says woke redneck, country born, city living, stand-up comedy member of Travis the Voice Benton, and it takes right over to my main page. Mm-hmm. It's got the Travis the Voice website as my website. You click on it. If you don't, you take 2 seconds of your life and you do a little research on it, it's all linked. I'm not hiding any of it.
Yeah.
On any character, any personality I do, it's all linked back to the one main thing. I'm not trying to hide it because as far as I'm concerned, more people who know that I can do all kind of different stuff, better off it is for me.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Like, nobody ever believes that this guy right here is talking to you like this is about to take a bite of this cereal. You got to get that noise too. Just,
yes.
Oh, it's so good.
Yeah, it's childhood, man.
It tastes like what outhouse toilet paper would taste like.
Oh, no. I mean, that is very Cousin Eddie.
No, it's got like
it's very Joe Bob as well.
It's got, I'm sorry, I keep breaking that Joe Bob. It's got a little cherry back aftertaste to it.
Yeah.
Got a little cherry in there. It's like a red Fruit Loop, kind of what it tastes like.
Like a red Fruit Loop?
Yeah. If I was gonna say that, it tastes like a red Fruit Loop. I know they don't have red Fruit Loops, but you throw this in a bowl of Fruit Loops, you wouldn't know the difference.
Right.
It's a nice little sugary snack.
Nice little sugary snack.
That's a little sugar. I'd eat it dry though. I don't think I'd waste my time putting any milk on it.
No, we never do.
Even if I was to get old Cousin Eddie's cereal on a regular basis, I think I'd eat it dry. Just put in a little baggie.
Yeah.
Take that baggie with me, eat out of my pocket.
A little baggie.
Hey, you put in a little Ziploc top. You know, you stick it in your shirt pocket as you're driving along and eat it out of your pocket.
Yeah, you can eat it out of your pocket.
That's right there, snack on the go. Easy peasy like that.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
You learn to do that kind of stuff when you're out in the middle of a field driving a 40-20 John Deere tractor. How do you think a lot of that work is done?
That is very true. Yeah.
I mean, I'd spend 6-7 hours a day just out in the middle of a field driving a tractor, turning hay over because it had rained and it needs to be turned over so it'll dry and not rot.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. One time they cut all the grass down. The hay's laying down on the ground. You bunch it up together so the baler can come and do it. But if you got it all bunched up, if it's on the ground and the rain comes through and rains on it, it'll lay there and rot, and then it won't be good for hay.
Oh man, yeah.
And you need the hay for the wintertime when that grass ain't growing.
Yeah, that's true.
That's what you got to feed your livestock. You got to go out there and I'd spend a whole day just driving around the field, just flipping grass over so it'd dry.
But for the most part, this would be our human hay. Is this Funko cereal?
Well, this is a byproduct of some of the hay, because some of the hay is straw. Straw is the bottom part of a wheat plant, and this is wheat grain that we're eating.
It is very true. It is wheat grain. It's it's multigrains.
There you go.
I've never seen a multigrain, but
well, it ain't multi-grain. You know, that's a different kind of plant. I think they come up from South America, the multi-grains. We just do the individual grains, put them together, and call it multi-grain.
Right. Oh my gosh, that is Cousin Eddie cereal by Joe Bob. Oh my gosh. This episode of Childlike at Best with Mike Valdes is brought to you by Ugly Drinks. Ugly is a company that makes sparkling water with real fruit flavor. No sugar, no sweetener, nothing artificial. And with every purchase, a percentage goes to the Girl Up campaign. Ugly Drinks comes in delicious flavors like peach, lemon lime, cherry, and my personal favorite, watermelon. And guess what, Childlike at Best listeners? You can receive 10% off your first order by using the code UGLYMIKE at checkout. It's true. Usually calling me ugly would be offensive in real life, but at uglydrinks.com, it'll save you money. Visit uglydrinks.com and use the code UGLYMIKE to get 10% off your order. It's time to get real. It's time to get ugly. I want to talk about stand-up, but also, like, we kind of talked about Joe Bob a little bit because, you know, you talked about how the last show that you did as Travis was the last show that we did together, you know, the Lewis's Comedy AF show. But when did you start stand-up?
January 2nd will make 3 years of pure stand-up comedy.
Now, when we met, you were talking about how you were also...
Master of ceremonies?
Yes, Master of Ceremony. Yeah, at this theater, I believe.
It was a cabaret show.
Yes, at the cabaret.
At a theater in Brickell. I host, in January, I'm going to start hosting a Thursday night. There's a Friday, Saturday show out on Miami Beach, another late night cabaret, Cirque, New Wavo show, where I'll be the MC again.
Did you start all that before stand-up? Mm-hmm. Yeah, so
that's why I specify pure stand-up, because when I do those shows, I do have material. I do write specific stuff for those shows, but like when I host the Mayor's Ball, I'm in such a little box of what I'm allowed to do and say that I don't consider that stand-up, where when you do stand-up, you have zero restrictions. You can do or say whatever you want to do or say. The repercussions of what comes out of your mouth is on you, but you have the freedom to do or say whatever you want. Yeah,
you actually told me this story when we did a show together. I think it was the Globe. You've been
Globe Theater.
Yeah, the Globe Theater. Yeah,
the Globe Theater. You and I did that one twice.
Yeah, and you told me this story about how you had to announce at a wrestling thing or something like that. On a boxing thing, and you were given like such restrictions, like you couldn't say like anything, and you were like, "Screw this." Can you tell that story?
Yeah, absolutely. They hired me to be the ring announcer for Bartender Boxing. They wanted me to do the ladies and gentlemen, and then stuck in this corner, let's get, and all that kind of stuff is what they were looking for. And I was like, hell yeah, let's do this, man.
Of course.
But like Buffer is who I want to be. I want to be the and they were telling me, okay, here's what they gave me a script of what I was supposed to say. And I was like, how strict on this do you want me to be? And they're like, pretty strict, because this is a legit boxing ring thing. And I was like, okay.
Yeah.
And I asked one of the judges, and I was like, hey, how strict on this do I have to be? And they were like, if you're out of the ring, we don't care. That's only if you're standing in the ring.
Sure.
Okay. And while I'm doing the thing and I'm in the ring, I stuck on the script, and I get out of the ring, I do a little more and follow the rules according to because it's a legit boxing thing. Like these guys have their licenses.
Yeah.
And one of the guys won. I went in to read his name as he won. He tried to get his gloves off, and somebody was throwing him a beer. And the beer hit him in the face, and the only cut of the night was from a beer can that he couldn't catch with boxing gloves. And as soon as it hit, I picked it up and threw it right back out of the ring, because there's no alcohol inside of a ring, or all of this is getting shut down.
Right.
And when it's sponsored by a tequila company, everybody is just drinking free tequila. And when I threw the beer back out, the whole crowd started to turn fast. Mm-hmm. Boo! And my response was, boo, fuck you. And they all went, what?
Yes.
This will get shut down if that happens.
Yeah.
The judges all thumbs up to me, like, all right.
And was that in the ring?
Yeah.
And they didn't even care.
The judges were like, exactly what needed to happen, because they're getting hit by the people getting rowdy. Like,
of course, yeah.
It's 150, 200 people, drunk tequila people.
Yeah, that's not fun.
Free tequila. Yeah. Like, they'd already been waiting 45 minutes, and this is the second round. This is the second match. We're an hour in of them just slamming free tequila.
Right.
Woo.
That's crazy.
Yeah. I didn't get hired back the next year, but I was the most memorable moment of the night.
I'm sure. Yeah.
Nobody remembers any of the fights. All they remember was, hey, you're boo, fuck you.
Yeah. That's me.
That's me, bitches.
That's great. Oh my gosh. So you were doing you were Travis the Voice on stage doing stand-up for, I guess, like
2 years and 9 months.
Yeah, I was going to say around like 2.5, because you've been doing Joe Bob for
it's about quite a bit. two and a half. Been doing Joe Bob for just over a year and a couple of months of just Joe Bob.
Yeah.
When I started Joe Bob, Travis the Voice stopped doing stand-up.
Right.
You want me to do stand up, you're getting Joe Bob. That's who's going to come out.
But in all reality, like, it was all the jokes that Travis had written.
100%.
Yeah, it's just done
100%
by a different persona.
100%. Just the other night was the first time you actually got to see a full Joe Bob set.
Yes, that's 100% true.
Yeah.
That is 100% true. And it's so funny because like it's funny because like I always liked your comedy. I always thought you were a funny guy. But the thing is, like, for me, one of the things that I would tell Lewis all the time is I was like, he's so funny, but I think that the fact that he's so intelligent makes people like not want to laugh, I think, because you're a very intelligent person.
Thank you.
And you can tell on stage because that's how you talk. Like, you present yourself like you're intelligent because you are. You know what I mean? And like, that's just what it is. But when you hear things like that coming from Joe Bob, it's the funniest thing ever. Like, it just makes so much sense.
A lot of the fun is when I speak Spanish with Joe Bob and watch the deer in headlights from people like, oh, that's more than hola.
You mean I've only seen it twice, but I was going to say, you mean the applause breaks that it gets from people? Because people love it when you do that.
No entiendo por qué solamente estoy hablando en español.
Dude, like, you get a standing ovation every time you do that. Like it's crazy. I mean, granted, like, it's something that's like only going to work here, but even still, like,
nah, it'll work anywhere.
Well, yes, it'll work anywhere, but I just mean in the sense of like Miami people seeing a dude with an accent being like, oh, he's one of us. They're just like, oh my God, this is the best thing I've ever seen. Like, it's like the equivalent to them seeing an Asian person rapping. Like, they're just like, oh my gosh, this is possible.
Are you calling me a novelty act?
No, I'm just saying, like, oh my gosh, I didn't know it was possible.
Come see the freak.
Yeah. But to people my age, like, we have the internet, so we know. You know what I mean? Like, that's all it is. But yeah, that's so funny, man. So I was going to say there has to be some, maybe not as Joe Bob, but as Travis, there has to have been some like crazy shows.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Even as Joe Bob, have you had crazy shows?
As
or not really?
Joe Bob, what's happened so far is what I've wanted to happen.
Yeah, because it feels like you're more in control.
With Joe Bob, I've taken a lot more control because it's, again, my show.
Exactly.
That I'm putting on it. The crazy stuff happens when it's not my show, when I'm not in control of 100% of it. And I don't mean show like from start to finish. I mean my time involved with the show. Of course,
yeah. The time you're on stage is your show.
That's what I mean. With that, what happens is exactly what I do Joe Bob for. Yeah. Like, I get the reaction out of the people that I want you to have from Joe Bob. I set it up that way on purpose. The crazy stuff, like, I got punched in the face by a guy.
What?
Came back, like, split my lip open during a burlesque number that I was doing.
Oh my gosh.
And it was, I want to say it was an accident, but
doesn't sound like it was an accident.
I kind of was, I was doing my burlesque number and was starting to take off my shirt.
Yeah.
And it was his wife's birthday. And as soon as I start walking at his wife to mess with her, he starts trying to get involved. So you're not going to outdo me. So I just grabbed his hand, put it between my legs and sat on his lap and did my reveal on his lap. And when I did that, he tried to get me off. And I grabbed his hand to put it down again to continue doing what I'm doing. And his hand slipped out and came back up and caught me in the face. But it was a closed fist.
Yeah.
And when he did it, I just pushed my head back into his chest, did my reveal and popped up, shook my tits on his head.
Right.
And then, because I'm not going to do anything back. There's security everywhere. I'm in the middle of my number. I just took the shot in the mouth and kept moving like the pro porn star that I am.
Jeez.
And when I was finished, I had my part of the bit is to pull towels out, and I took the towels. I just introduced the next act, walked off stage, got with the towel in my mouth, and band was backstage and they saw me with the towel. And when I pulled it down, there was blood.
Oh my!
I had to talk 12 Cuban guys out of going and beating the hell out of somebody.
Right.
Like, the crazy stuff has been because I push the crazy. You know what I mean? Like, I did a show at the Fina Theater and was doing my intro, and I have the attention of the entire crowd except for one woman who has her back to me and she's talking. And
this is a story where I know you're a comic.
Yeah.
Because that kind of stuff bothers me too.
Well, the problem with it is in this show, I have some restriction, but I was testing the waters to see when they would put the restrictions.
Yeah.
So I just yelled at this woman, "Hey, you goddamn whore."
Oh my God.
And everybody went, "Oh shit."
Right.
And she spun around. She goes, "What?" And I said, "Do you want a free drink or what?" And I had a bottle of liquor in my hand that I was trying to get. And she's like, "Yeah." And she came over and took her free drink. And I said, "How about the rest of you fuckers? Are you ready?" And you know what I mean? Like,
that is insane.
Yeah. Sometimes I push for that crazy. Like, I told a guy flat out to his face, "Fuck you, you're not ready."
Right.
I said, "Are you ready?" And this guy's sitting with his arms crossed, and I just, "Fuck you, get ready."
Yeah.
And then he finally, and for the rest of the show, he was up. I pushed for that. I did the mayor's ball and had the mayor's wife twerking on me.
How in the world does that happen?
I just called her out because she wanted it to become a party and they weren't up. It was about time to kick over. We had the DJ going and I was trying to get people up, and I called the mayor's wife out with me and I said, "Is it time for the party?" I handed her the mic and she said, "It's time to party."
Oh my gosh.
And gave me the mic back and turned around and started twerking on me. And I said, "Mr. Mayor, come get your wife."
Oh no.
And he came out and he just stood there with his hands up. And that was the beginning of the dance party. And I've done that for 3 years now.
Oh my gosh, dude.
I don't know.
That's absolutely insane.
I go crazy happens. I love it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. And like, oh my gosh. So I guess I'm going to do like an inside the actor's studio now thing where I'm just like, "Man, please speak to Joe Bob." It's so awkward.
So you want to talk to Joe Bob, D?
Yes, I do.
What would you like to know about old Joe Bob?
Well, Joe Bob, where are you from, Joe Bob?
I'm Broken Arrow, Oklahoma, brother. I'm born and raised. That's right.
Yeah. And what brought you over to stand-up? What made you want to start doing stand-up comedy, Joe
Well,
Bob?
I was down here. I was working. There ain't a whole lot of money in firewood in South Florida, so I needed to figure out some other way to pay the bills. And I was drunk one night, and I was listening to these guys tell jokes, and I'm like, "I'm funnier than these guys." And I get up there and just... Really, I got up because I was mad and just kind of venting my frustrations. Everybody started laughing at me, and next thing I know, they're like, "Hey, you want to get paid to do this?" And I was like, "Well, hell yeah, brother."
Of course. What are some of the things that frustrate you, Joe Bob? Let's talk about that.
Well, like, I don't understand a lot of the issues that go on in the city. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like, the gender neutrality issue. Yep. You know this. I've heard it. I don't get it. I can't wrap my head around it. I don't understand why everybody's got to be gender neutral all the time. You got to be gender neutral. And rednecks, we figured this out a long time ago. We've been saying y'all for years.
Yeah.
Nobody gives us credit for it. We figured it out. Nobody wants to listen to me. You know what I mean? I know what it look like, but I got some ideas in my head, like the bathroom thing.
Funny.
I went to Target today, and at Target, you're allowed to use whatever bathroom you identify with, but they still hang up a men's and women's sign. And I can't figure out why this whole gender neutral bathroom deal is an issue. Like in Oklahoma, it was easy. If you sit down to pee, use the toilet.
Yeah.
If you're going to stand up to pee, go outside. If you need to poop, go further outside. Not here in the city. You got to fight about it.
Oh my gosh. That's so funny. And so, Joe Bob, you've been doing stand up for like a little bit under a year.
A little over a year now.
A little over a year now.
A little over a year. I've been doing it down here.
Yeah.
And I'm headlining now. I get up.
I see that. Yeah, absolutely.
I've done 30 minutes worth of time more than once, brother.
30 minutes worth of time.
I give you an hour if you need me to.
Nice.
I got a lot of stuff on my chest.
Okay.
I got a lot of stuff to say.
That's crazy. And where are you performing, Joe Bob?
On a weekly basis, I hosted in Wynwood at a place called Mr. Wright's Gold Digger Saloon.
Yeah.
I host every
Cool
week
place.
there, and then you just got to kind of find me on Instagram because I bounce around.
Yeah.
I go all over the place from down in Homestead all the way up West Palm Beach.
Yeah.
On a weekly basis, it just kind of depends on the night, and the only one that's going to be set for sure is going to be there in Wynwood.
Yeah, and
That's where you can come
at
get
Gold
me for
Diggers.
sure. At Gold Diggers every week there.
I actually did that show last week.
It's a fun
with
room,
you.
isn't it?
It's a really fun room. It looks like the Tiki Room at Disneyland, but it's a very fun room.
It ain't got that annoying Small World song going on nowhere.
Yeah, that is very true. There aren't any songs or anything in
don't
there.
compare it to that, but it is a fun room. It
is a very
feels
fun
like you're sitting on my back patio.
Little bit,
You know
yeah.
what I mean? It's such a cool little spot.
Yeah.
You're in Wynwood, but it doesn't feel all hipster like Wynwood.
Yeah, it's hipster enough, but the week that I went was during Fart Basel.
Oh yeah.
Or well, people call it Art Basel, but what are your thoughts on Art Basel, Joe
Basil,
Bob?
I don't understand why you need a whole festival for basil. I mean, didn't it just go on in some Italian food? Isn't that all basil is?
put it
Just a
on
little
pizza.
herb. Now you
Right.
got all these people come down here see it. I don't
Yeah.
get it. It's just
No.
a green little plant.
Now Charlie Sheen is all over it.
And what does Charlie Sheen have to do with basil? I thought he was into marijuana. What's he doing on basil now?
And not to mention, that's very true. And also, wasn't like, because that was something that you told me, was that everybody was going crazy that Charlie Sheen was out in Basil. And I was like, why does anyone care that Charlie Sheen... Like, wow, the guy from 2.5 Men's in Florida, who cares?
The guy who currently has AIDS.
The guy who looks like he's had AIDS since Ferris Bueller's Day Off.
I forgot he was on that bench.
Yes, drugs. That's his only line.
So weird to think he's Emilio Estevez's brother.
Right.
Like, I don't even see a family resemblance when they're standing together.
Man, Charlie Sheen, man. I haven't thought of that name in a while. Who else was at Art Basel, you were saying? It was
Paris Hilton was there.
Paris Hilton was there.
Paris Hilton was there. At the same thing Charlie Sheen was. Surprise, surprise.
Yeah. They were all just trying to find out how to be relevant again.
I don't know. I really don't know. I guess they heard there was a banana duct tape to a wall they had to come look at. Only thing that's not basil is a banana on the wall.
Yeah. Like, wow, this is bananas. I love it.
What I hate about that whole thing is all the copycat people doing like, oh, come on. You weren't the one with the idea. Leave it alone.
Right.
Get off it. Don't start taping papayas and all this kind of crap to the wall.
Man, it's kind of insane that Art Basel is a thing. Because it's just like, I don't know.
Be honest with you, Art Basel is like social media for you and I is that necessary evil. We need them pretentious buttholes to come down here and make this artsy fartsy kind of scene happen for us because comedy is a vaudeville art. You know what I mean? It ain't a mainstream thing. We were always vaudevillians. We were always the guys that off in the side tent, not in the main tent, because we're in there talking about our peckers and the buttholes and hookers and doing all. You know what I mean? We ain't supposed to be out there for kids to see. And to have these artsy fartsy people come down here and starting to want to do more shows. And now we got the improv in Doral.
Yes.
The one at the Hard Rock just opened back up, and there's one in West Palm. Comedy's about to start making its way back down in here. Pretty something fierce, I believe.
Yeah, I think so too. Like I was telling you last week, like Tom Segura's going to start doing some sets
Tom
here.
Tom Segura's working on his. You told me he has a Spanish.
He has
set
a Spanish
for the
special
improv
that
over
he's
in
working on
Miami.
here.
Yeah, I think I might do myself a Spanish set. Just
that would be awesome.
hacer uno completamente en español.
Yeah,
that
would be awesome.
La problema que yo tengo es de español es mi segundo idioma.
Okay.
¿Me entiendes? Y cosa como sarcasm.
Yes.
Y para tirar un chiste es al revés en español.
Exactly.
And it doesn't translate for me.
Yeah,
I don't
it's
get
a satire
stand-up
thing.
I don't get the satire in Spanish because I'm translating everything back.
Yeah, satire is very different.
I notice that a lot down here in South Florida. We get a lot of English second language people.
Yeah.
I mean, not that you can't speak the language, but you don't speak it first, so satire gets lost on you. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And like dry humor, if you do a dry joke where it's just an English dry humor type joke, English second language people don't get the dryness of it either.
Exactly.
Like, hey, I don't get it.
It's so funny because like when I started in LA, and pretty much 9.5 out of 10 comics are all satirical comics.
Yeah.
So that's just what I thought comedy was.
Yep.
And so when I came here, I almost had to become a different writer a little bit, which like, granted, you always write your sets to be like, this can work anywhere, like that kind of thing.
Well, that's mentality.
Of course.
This is going on Netflix for sure.
Yeah, oh my gosh, man, I need to ask you this question. I was telling somebody this because I thought it was funny. It might work. It might just be more a me thing, but I was like, anytime I write a joke and I imagine the joke killing, it never does well. Has that ever happened to you?
Well, kinda.
Yeah.
Kinda. What happens to me is I get to laughing so hard at the joke that I'm writing. Mm-hmm. When I tell it and people don't laugh as hard as I did, it hurts my feelings.
Oh, I get that too.
Like,
yes.
I thought there was, I had tears in my eyes writing this for you guys. You bunch of buttholes, laugh at that.
Dude, let me tell you.
That's also part of the writing process on it, you know?
Of course, yeah.
Like you're right, like a lot of stories I have, being on my vantage point, it's hilarious. Mm-hmm. But they're not on my vantage point.
Yeah, it's your job to get them there.
Well, you either take them there or you describe it from there where they can see it, like they're on the outside looking in. And that's kind of how my approach is on a lot of it.
Yeah.
You're never going to understand my vantage point.
Yeah.
You can't get into the head of where I'm from, but you can see somebody like me being in this situation and understand how I reacted to it.
Right. Yeah. Because I was actually just thinking that because you saw me work on a new bit recently. It's a stupid bit, like most of my bits, but it's this bit about like, the kid that gives Jesus his lunch in the Bible. And the whole thing is that he has 5 loaves and 2 fish. And the premise is like, why didn't anyone tell that kid that it was too much food? To me, it's super funny because like I was doing that voice and I was making myself laugh and I'm like, man, this is going to kill. And something that I didn't realize until after I did it was, not everyone knows that story as well as I do because they didn't grow up in church like I did. You have to explain it quickly and in a funny way, like that kind of thing. Yeah. So like actually the second time I did it, I just recently did a headlining set 2 nights ago and I redid it and it did really well. Where I was like, and I took a couple of things that you said as well and it worked as well. So I like another thing that I said, it's a dumb little joke, but I was like, describing the story where I was like, yeah, so Jesus was out, on the mountain, and he was doing stand up and it got this really big funny reaction. Like people started laughing. And I was like, well, he was performing in front of 5,000 people and they eventually wanted to kill him because they were so offended. So it's essentially stand up. And it got this huge laugh. And I was like, that's the joke. Now I can move on. Yes. Like,
oh, y'all didn't know God was a joke?
Oh, no.
See what I was saying earlier about a girl being around a bunch of comedians?
Yes. That's tough.
You're going to get something in his head that ain't going to be right.
Yeah, man.
Well, who inspires you as a comedian?
It's tough, dude, because I have a lot of different inspirations. I'm actually glad that I have different inspirations because, like, it makes my voice a little bit different, I think. It
gives you a variety of what you can do.
Exactly.
You ever feel like you got a message you want to deliver, like something?
Yeah, absolutely.
I absolutely do, too.
Yeah, and so, like, for me, I think the 3 biggest ones for me are, like, Patton Oswalt, Chris D'Elia, and maybe a mixture of Mike Birbiglia and Hassan Minhaj, where the last 2 are very like they're more one-man show comedians in the sense of like
Mike Birbiglia built his own thing.
Exactly. Where like it's not necessarily always funny.
His super secret hidden.
Yes. Yeah. The super secret journal. Yeah.
Super secret journal. Yeah.
Yeah. And so like it's very, but it's also very personal. And that's why.
I know.
Yeah. That's why I love it.
I'm Mike.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Mike Birbiglia is hilarious.
Yeah. What I should have said was nothing. Yeah. Like that kind of thing.
But what I did say.
Yeah. Was you'd be surprised. And so, but yeah, so those are the kind of things that I like. The first comedian that I ever really like got inspired to do stand up for was, or like inspired me to do stand up was probably like Patton Oswalt. And so like one of those kinds of guys, which, cause he was very like nerdy, but like also, he did like some pop culture things, did a lot of like silly voices, like things like that. And then I kind of backtracked, you know, cause again, I was born in a very conservative home, wasn't allowed to watch a lot of like stand-up specials or things like that. I knew who Robin Williams was, didn't know he was a stand-up comedian or that kind of a stand-up comedian. Found out later on through college and things like that. And of course it opens so many doors for you, and it's like the greatest thing in the world, you know? Yeah. And George Carlin and people like that, like just like opens up your world, you know? But yeah, like I think to this day, like the hardest I've ever laughed at like a bit ever is something that Patton Oswalt said. And it was this bit about how his favorite Christmas memory is this memory where he would get the Alvin and the Chipmunks vinyl. Yeah. And they would play it on like super slow motion because they wanted to hear what the Chipmunks like regular voices sounded like. But what they didn't realize was that the guy that sounded like Dave would then become this demon from like the third Satan. Layer of hell. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. 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 Like that's, and it just killed me. I laughed so hard at that. But yeah, for me, it's weird, man. I fell into stand up. I don't know if I've talked about it on this podcast, which is funny, but I fell into stand up backwards in a lot of ways.
That's how I did it. I fell in backwards
because like I never thought I could be a stand up comic. I never thought I was even funny enough. Like
I didn't know it was something I wanted to do.
Exactly. That for me as well. Yes. I
knew I wanted to be an entertainer, but I didn't realize stand up was something that I was going to take over like it.
Yeah. And I knew that I loved stand up. I knew that I loved it.
I tell everybody doing stand up is like doing cocaine.
Okay.
You're either going to do it and not like it.
Yeah.
Or it's going to ruin your life.
Yes.
There ain't no in between.
Yes.
There's no part-time cokeheads.
That's very accurate. Absolutely. Yeah,
it's an all-consuming thing because even when you're not on stage, you're thinking about when you was last on stage, you're thinking about when you're going to be on stage, and you're thinking about all the new jokes you want to tell while still trying to put a smile on your face and be a normal human being.
Yeah. That's one of the best metaphors I've ever heard for comedy. Recently, I heard Robbie Rist. He's I met him over at a con that I was doing moderation for. He was the voice of Michelangelo in like the Ninja Turtle movies and stuff. And we were talking about being an entertainer and things like that. And he said, the best metaphor that I can give you about Hollywood and about the entertainment business is that Hollywood is like the best girlfriend you've ever had. She's absolutely beautiful. She's funny. She's everything you've ever wanted. The only thing that sucks is that she's having sex with all of your friends.
So nothing new.
Yes. And I was like, so basically Hollywood is me in high school.
It's pretty normal, and I fit in real well in Hollywood.
Yes.
Hollywood, baby, I'm coming for you.
Oh, my gosh. Where can people find you online?
Well, you can find Joe Bob McGinney on Instagram at Joe Bob McGinney, and it's spelled just like it sounds, Jobob. No spaces, no E's. Joe Bob. I don't know why people get it so wrong.
Yes.
Joe Bob. Jobob. Just like that. Simple. McGinney. Joe Bob McGinney. Just like that on Instagram. You'll find me.
Nice. And we can get all of your shows and
You can keep up with Joe Bob right there, and that'll link you back to everybody else and everything else I got going on. And
exactly. And obviously also follow Travis the Voice.
yeah, make sure you go follow Travis the Voice. He's a butthole. For some reason he got walked out of here.
Yeah, he's an up and coming guy.
He's pretty funny sometimes. If you get him to keep his clothes on, he's a lot funnier. He like that dude. I'm surprised he's probably not walking around in house in there naked right now.
Oh my god,
man, that guy's got lingerie. You believe that? Lingerie. He's got pantyhose hanging up in my bathroom when I go in there to take a shower. And I don't live with a woman. What is going on here? Don't make no sense. There's makeup everywhere. This guy, Travis is a weirdo, man. You got to look out for that guy.
That's hilarious. Oh my gosh. Well, you can find me on Instagram at Mike Valdes, on Twitter
and at playgrounds after school.
No, I'm not allowed there anymore. You can find me on Twitter at I am Mike Valdes. You can go to whoismikevaldes.com to find out the answer to that question. And that is it, ladies and gentlemen. Subscribe, tell all of your friends so we can grow this family. You guys are amazing. Have a great week. Bye, besties.